Well, the footy season might be over, but we are heading into a really important time of the year for the Formula One and the highly anticipated Las Vegas Grand Prix is just a few days away. And one man who can't wait for it, and he's actually on the ground in the States, is Collingwood Premiership ruck Mason Cox. Mason, thanks for joining us here at Fox Footy. I suppose being back in the States, no doubt to catch up with some familiar faces, but you must be absolutely pumped to get to Las Vegas in a couple of days.
Man, I'm stoked. It's gonna be the entertainment place of the world for that weekend. And well, there's so many things people have been talking about. They're like, oh, how good's the Sphere? You know, how crazy is the straight's gonna be in F1? Like, it's gonna be one massive party. And I think I'm excited just to kind of see exactly what Vegas has to offer for the weekend.
Are you a bit of an F1 aficionado, and have you got any predictions for the upcoming race?
Man, I love the F1. I go every single year here. My brother lives in Austin, so I usually go to the Austin F1 here whenever it comes to the off season. Just lines up well. But yeah, this Vegas race being the first time they're doing it, I'm stoked, man. It's something I love. Like, I know as of recent, I've been watching it. You know, and there's Lando's my boy. Lando's been killing it at the moment, and I would love for him to just get a podium and just. I know Max Verstappen. He's won all but 3 races this year, so he's dominating, obviously, but. If Lando could pip one here at Vegas, I will be going absolutely nuts.
And obviously being an Aussie citizen now, Mason, are you leaning now from an Aussie perspective? Are you a Dan Ricciardo man or are you an Oscar Piastri man?
I'm probably more of an Oscar fan at the moment. Oscar, he's a Melbourne boy, which Dan's a Perth boy. So I think there's just a little bit more of a connection there between the two guys. And I don't know. I've been a fan of Daniel for a long time. He's been obviously representing Australia over there in the F1 for a substantial amount of time. With Oscar now coming through the ranks at such a young talent, it's been so impressive to see him, be able to blossom this year and be able to really get on the podium and everything else. It's been incredible. Like what he's been able to do in a small amount of time is pretty amazing. And him in F2 and stuff the year before is really showing, I guess, the amount of talent he had. And now for him to be, I guess, on the biggest stage and being able to perform at the same time, it's a credit to him.
Of course, you can see every minute of the race on Fox Sports and KO Sports as well. So, Mason, you're over there now, and for the first time in an off season, you're a premiership player in an off season. What does it mean to still be a premiership player 6-7 weeks after that great day?
Yeah, it's crazy to think. Like I still to this day don't feel like it's actually set in. If I'm being honest with you, it's like. Once I get back to Melbourne and kind of sit there and we start the preseason again, we're like, all right, we just won the thing. We're going to try to do it again. Like, I think that's whenever it'll probably really settle in. But no, it's been awesome. Like, it's been a bit of a crazy, hectic offseason so far, jump around from one thing to another. You obviously have the premiership win. You're celebrating for weeks. And then, you kind of go back to America and then you come to the realization of you're back around friends and family who, like a lot of my friends probably don't realize the enormity of winning a grand final. So you kind of get, brought back to reality pretty quickly and a few pegs down. But no, it's awesome to be around family and friends again. And then I was lucky enough, went back to Australia and went to horse races and then went up to Uluru for a wedding, which was pretty amazing. And I think over that kind of 2 weeks where I was back in Melbourne and around the Australia, locals and citizens and stuff, it was kind of go back to the craziness to be like, you realize you just won a grand final, right? And I'm like, yeah, I do. That's pretty insane.
It is insane, and particularly when you consider your story as well. Was there an official end date for the celebrations, or do you think they're still going in some capacity?
Yeah, if I'm being honest with you, I've got the medal still with me. So I don't know if that's a sign of telling you whether the celebrations have stopped, but I've ran into a few Australians over here doing a few things. I saw Jock Lindell who's playing for the Houston Rockets recently at the NBA game and got to show him the medal. He's a Collingwood fan, so it was kind of cool to be able to show him. And it gets around a bit, so a lot of people just kind of love to see it. And I guess it's part of the celebratory part of it, right? I mean, you have it for at least a year and it's no one else's for at least a year. So you got to really make most of that, those 365 days. And I've ran some random people, going through some stuff here. I've done live golf over with Cam Smith and a few of the other boys and had some Queenslanders up there from Brisbane that weren't too happy about me bringing the medal, but they got over it pretty quick after a few drinks together. And no, it's been awesome. Even like random Australians I've run into here just to pull the medal out and they're like, oh my gosh, like who would have thought, and like they just absolutely love it. So it's been cool to be able to share that, I guess, that experience to show people a medal and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's something I've come to enjoy is everyone else's reaction to showing them.
Have you hit a point, Mason, yet where the determination to go back to back supersedes the joy and elation of winning a premiership just over a month ago?
Yeah, I think it's people will probably call it crazy to say this, but I think as soon as the game was done, I was kind of already thinking about too. You get that feeling of like that rush of completion, and the journey of the year and everything kind of came with it. And you're like, man, I want to experience that again. I want to go, let's run that back, kind of thing. So it's as soon as that game was kind of over, you're kind of already thinking about the next one, and you definitely let that soak in and enjoy the moment and everything that comes with it and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as you kind of get back to, like after the celebrations and stuff, you kind of go, okay, like, how do we do this again? Like, how do we become better? What's the next step? Like, what's going to make us be able to do this again? And I guess those thoughts kind of creep into your mind pretty quickly after it's all done. And, fortunately enough, you start back up pretty quickly after 2 months, and you get to go and try to, better yourself again and make the team better and see if you can go and, make it 2 times.
And you'll enter 2024 as the hunted, and there'll be a lot of clubs chasing you as well. How do you go? How do you reckon you guys will go with that kind of mindset?
Yeah, I think we're somewhat the hunted this year too. I think everyone saw exactly how much we grew in that first year under Craig McRae, and then our second year, everyone kind of knew we were going to be a threat in the AFL and be up there towards the top of the ladder. So I felt like every team we played against, was bringing their best. So I'm going to assume the same thing's going to probably happen this year, and they're going to have, another year of, I guess, scouting underneath their belt of what we're doing and our different types of gameplay and everything else, and probably try to find a way to combat it. So it's exciting. It's a challenge every single time you do this. It's a challenge every single year to go up against the other big dogs in the competition and try to come out on top. So for us, I think it's just kind of, trying to fine tune, see where we can kind of grow as a team and where we can, maximize our capabilities and our strengths as players, and make the team stronger and, be able to be even better than we were last year.
Melbourne will be one of those teams, and I'm sure the comments from Stephen May got back to you about his, how he personally felt that Melbourne were a better team than Collingwood, which obviously got a lot of backlash.
We lose to Collingwood and they go on to win the flag, and it fucking hurts watching that because like we're a better team than them. We should have smoked them, and to sit there on grand final day and watch them, hoist the cup and get the medals, I'm sitting there going, geez, our team's so much better than these guys.
I find it hilarious. I don't know how many drinks he had at that at that little celebration of, not making it to the grand final. But yeah, I mean, they lost to Carlton even after they lost to us. So I don't really know exactly where he's getting at there. He still had to, win that game to try to make it on. But Melbourne's had its its media time over the last couple of months. You've definitely seen a few things over the time, but they're still going to be one of the best teams in the league next year, and they're definitely a team you got to respect. So they've always put up a big fight with us. They beat us on Queen's birthday last year, and they came close to beating us in that quarterfinal. And they're a good team, so you always have to respect them. But I think those kind of comments, it's water off a duck's back, really. That people are always going to sit there and say they think they can beat the best, and that's just part of the experience, I think. But whenever it comes down to it, it's almost, I guess, like Jordy said, I think we're the ones with the medal on our neck. So that's kind of proof in the pudding. But yeah, it's interesting to hear those kind of comments, but I'm sure come whatever round we play in, there's going to be a bit of extra beef in the competition and the fight.
Was there a part of you that almost enjoyed the honesty as well, considering how you carry yourself publicly?
Oh, I love it. I love the trash talk. I'm all for it, man. So you best believe if I go on that forward line and Stephen May lines up against me, there'll be a few comments made.
Can't wait, mate. Looking forward to it. Just, you mentioned beforehand assessing as a team how you can get better in 2024. Have you got any sort of initial thoughts on where you guys can improve as a club to try and go back to back?
I think we back in our game plan. It's something that I think has been able to prove itself throughout this year against different opposition that we've come up against. And I haven't really sat down and talked to the coaches of how we really would change too much. I don't think we will. Like our game style is pretty solid, obviously, with winning a premiership last year. So I think it's probably just fine tuning, making sure everyone's in situations. We were one of the best teams, I think, to handle some of the tougher situations when it comes to clock management and things like that. And it's really just fine tuning that to make sure that everyone's on the same page. We've got some new talent that's come in and making sure that they're all on the same page with everything else, and they fit into the fold really well. And I'm excited to kind of see them whenever we get back. And yeah, I don't think we need to really go reinvent the wheel by any means. I think it's stick to what has been successful for us, but just maybe fine tuning some of the little finer details.
And last one, mate. Once after the F1 in the States and in Vegas, there, what are your movements, and what does it look like coming back to the club to start your official preseason?
Yeah, I'm headed back to Austin and then going up to Dallas for Thanksgiving with the family, which would be great. So I'll have the whole family there, and then mom and dad are having their 40th wedding anniversary, so that'll be massive too. So that'll be good to see them and have some time with them, and then I'll head out to Park City, Utah for my brother's bachelor party. He's already married, but he's decided to do the reverse and do the bachelor party after the marriage, which would be good. So we're going to do some hiking and stuff out there and be able to celebrate their marriage, which would be awesome. And then I'll end up heading to Los Angeles and sorting out some sport over there. Maybe try to get to the NFL or the NHL. I want to go see the LA Kings play out there in LA. So that's going to be what probably happen. And I'll fly back to Australia, and then reality hits again. I'll start running in circles again and get back in shape.
Post-wedding bachelor party is one of the more unique things I've heard, Mason, but I'm sure you guys will have a blast. Thanks, Heath, for joining us on Fox Footy. Good luck over there in the States, and good luck when you hit the preseason training back when you get back to the Pies.
No stress, mate. I appreciate it, and we'll chat to you soon, Ben.